everyone, welcome back to my channel, So Fast Die Young. I'm Morgan, and today we're going to talk about a Halloween project. One of my favorite things to do every year is like hoard the Joann's Halloween cotton fabrics. And I mean, I have a pretty big stash of them at this point. And I like to try to find pieces, patterns to make with the Halloween quilting cotton that are just things that I want to wear, and things that not only do I want to wear around Halloween, but I want to wear year round. So it's kind of my like little special thing is to make a Halloween outfit. But again, it's not a costume. This is like clothes to wear, and I absolutely wear it beyond Halloween and all around. So I've been doing this for about 4 years now. It started with some really simple like full skirts that I made out of some skull fabric and some zombie pinup fabric, and then I did a little Halloween shirt a couple years ago, and then after that I did another Halloween shirt, and this past year I did this Halloween dress. So maybe it's only been 4 years. I think there also was a Halloween in the pandemic where I was really focused on Little Red Riding Hood and did not actually make a Halloween outfit for myself that year. This one I actually made last year right before Halloween. And I did film it then, and I had every intention of getting this video out then, but you know, life happens. So here we are, and in preparation of Halloween 2022, I wanted to show you my Halloween dress that I made using this McCalls pattern. So this is McCalls 7184, and I made this little ensemble, cute little shirt and little like high-waisted jumper or dress, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, it turned out lovely. My original intent and my intent with this video is to kind of give you a review of this pattern as well as show off making something with the fun Halloween fabric. I kind of have a huge stash. I swear I go in there every year and I just buy random amounts sometimes of the things. Like if I'm like, ooh, I think that would make a great shirt, then I'll buy like about 2 yards. Or if I'm like, ooh, I want a dress out of that, I'll buy like 5 to 6 yards depending on what's available and how much I like it. It actually took me longer to make this dress than I had hoped, because the first fabric that I liked and wanted to make it with, I actually only had 5 yards, and I really needed a little bit more than 5 yards. I only needed just shy of 6. This is also a pattern review, so in this I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the issues that I had with this pattern when I was making it. Some of the little weird blips with it, because there were some, but it was actually an incredibly easy, quick, simple pattern, and I really loved it. And I love this dress. I think that there's a lot of really awesome things that one can do with fashion, and like, I have been working or endeavoring to try and make more instead of buy more, and I think as we all do, because I have such a huge stash of fabric. I still buy a lot too, but you know, these Halloween outfits have become a really great excuse for me to make something that I really, really love. Again, it's an outfit, not a costume. This is not like a witch costume. I mean, I suppose one could work them into costumes, but maybe I'll end up doing a little video showing off some of the other previous ones that I have made. But this is the one. This is the first one that I decided to document. I think this was the first one that I made since the pandemic, because first year Halloween was kind of and I was really focused on the Little Red Riding Hood costume, I believe, at that point as well. Yeah, I hope you enjoy seeing a little bit of the process on how I made and fit this ensemble, and here we go. Okay, so here's the pattern that I'm going to be using and reviewing. I'm going to be making both the shirt and the jumper. I am roughly the extra large, because this is just small, medium, large sizes. I have pulled out the pattern and found the measurements. Let me see if I can grab that to show you. Okay, so on the very back, on the back of the pattern, it does show down at the bottom, like you can always check your finished measurements. It says the bust is 48.5. My bust currently is about a 46, so this has got about 2 inches of ease for me, and that's pretty good. I like that. It gives the hip line measurement for A and B, and that's 72, so that means it really flares out on both of the hips, which is great because I have big hips, so that's going to be fine for me. It only gives the lower edge. How does that make sense? Lower edge is 50, but that's weird. The fact that it gives a lower measurement for A, because A is this. There shouldn't really be a hip line. Anyways, lower edge of width edge of the shirt is 50. So that's the very bottom of the shirt is 50. That's going to be plenty big for me, unless it sits too, like, super low. I'm just going to have to see where it falls on me. But that should be plenty of space. And then the back of the neck, length from base of the neck. Now, see, this is not a measurement I ever need to know. I want to know the back of the neck to the waist, or waist to floor. I don't care about these. Like, I know that it just doesn't make... It's not useful unless I'm doing something really long and that drapes straight down from the back of my neck. I wish that they would include more of the finished garment measurements here, because once you open the pattern, you can find in various places the other measurements. So on this is the dress part, the overskirt, jumper, whatever you want to call it. So here you can see that the waist is 39 inches. And I'm a little closer to a 40, 41 right now. I kind of fluctuate at the moment. So I probably am going to end up in this area here, particularly at the side seams, just adding a little bit of extra seam allowance so that I can fit it to myself, if that is truly 39 inches finished with the zipper and everything. I want to be able to make some adjustments to this if I need to. And you can see here on this is the side, so this is the hip line area right about here. And you can see it's saying that it's 72.5 is the finished measurement. And I believe on the shirt, when I pulled that piece out, the waist measurement, finished waist measurement of the shirt was a 48.5 or something like that. I don't quite remember, but I felt that it was doable and a good sizing for me. Because I probably will not be wearing the shirt without some sort of tight skirt over it anyways, whether it's this or other skirts that it matches with. So this is the fabric that I have picked. The other things that I need for this project are these are the buttons for the shirt. I have black Kona cotton that I'm going to do with the shirt with these cute little buttons. They're so cute. They have little flowers in them. Isn't that adorable? There's a zipper that goes in the back of this, and these are the 2 buttons that I'm picking for the front of this to go right there. In the directions, it does say to use like this size button on this skirt, but I think that this is going to look cuter. I would rather make it more of a statement, and I can make the adjustments I need to with the facing to be able to put a large buttonhole, or I can always not put actual buttonholes and I can just fake it and sew these on top through all of the layers. It's always an option. If you hate buttonholes, there are ways to fake these things, you know. But obviously I am doing buttonholes on the dress shirt part of this. So yeah, it's really cute. It's like this little shawl collar, and there's like little cuffs at the bottom of the sleeve. It's very easy to throw together shirt. I can make some adjustments if I need to in the waist, either through the side seams or through these darts in the front and back. And I kind of like that because that means I can alter it more in the future should I gain or lose weight. And the same here, I can build in some extra seam allowance in the side seams so that even with the facing I can do some alterations, whether it's taking in or out for the future, depending on exactly how my body fluctuates, because you know, bodies fluctuate, and I feel that garments should be alterable easily to accommodate that. So this was like 6 yards of this fabric, but I managed to get it on the super sale, so it was they actually had a decent amount left. I picked this up at Joann's just last night. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm probably going to go lay this out in my living room, move some furniture, because these pattern pieces, the skirt is a very full skirt. Let's see, let's back up a little bit. So each one of these pattern pieces is quite full, so I'm very excited about that. But I'm going to need space to lay these all out because I have to lay this fabric out flat, and my current cutting table is not big enough for a flat 45-inch piece of fabric long enough to cut out the pieces. So I'll have to cut this out, and we'll see how well this all goes together and if it's an awesome pattern or not. I really love the look of it, and I'm hoping that it's as adorable on me as it looks in this picture. So hoping for positive reviews of this one. So one of the things that I like to do when I am dealing with interfacing is I like to be more precise on cutting my pieces out of the interfacing than cutting them out of the fabric. I'll actually either cut them out of the interfacing first and then fuse them to the fabric and cut it, or I'll do a rough cut where I leave a little bit extra kind of around the fashion fabric, and then I cut the interfacing and fuse it and then trim it away. I just think it it helps you not, especially if you're using fusible, it helps you not get fusing onto your ironing board. Though you should use a pressing cloth both underneath and on top of your project. But it also just, like, it allows me to be more precise on the interfacing, where sometimes I'm going to end up wanting to make marks and whatnot visible, and then I don't worry about making those marks on the fashion fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and use my rotary cutter to trim this out a little bit nicer than I would have cut out my fashion fabric. And this fusible has fusing all the way right to the edge, so I'm actually just using the edge of this as my straight of grain. I think I'm going to need to. And you can use a ruler here too if you want. I'm just really going to closely follow my pattern. Bam. So like this was a rough cut. You can see it's just a hair bigger all the way around the edge. It's black interfacing on black fabric. But yeah, so I made it just a little bit bigger so that I would have a little bit of room around the edge so that I could trim it off. Okay, so I'm putting in darts, and these darts are double-ended, so it's a fisheye dart. Which means I'm not going to back stitch at either end. I'm going to start stitching. I'm going to stitch along my line, off, and then I'm going to go back and tie knots and trim off after the fact. Tie a knot at the end of a dart, I like to use a pin to kind of help me get it as tight and placed as close as possible to the end as I can. So I just basically tie the knot around the pin and use that kind of as like an anchor to help guide the knot down to the very base of the fabric. Okay, so right now I'm just working on the shirt. So far it's actually been pretty easy to put together. Their method of putting in the collar is a little different than what I would do, but it works. It's fine. But one of the things that I just want to point out, especially because this is a pattern review, is the registration marks on the facing don't actually line up. So you can see here there's 4 dots, and they've put a small, medium, large here, but only there's the same dots. They've only put one here, and the way that this shifts out, it doesn't, like, these all line up correctly, and this will only ever line up. Whoops, sorry. So the way they've done this, like, this doesn't shift out here, So these all line up correctly where they're supposed to, but no matter what, this one will always line up with this bottom. So I was very confused because I marked the extra large here. And unless this means something else, unless this is, but it didn't, it's just very confusing because like when you're like marking out the pattern, you're going to mark this one here and then you're going to mark this one here, not this one, and then it's not going to match. So I suppose this could be a roll line, but that would still be silly because even here, even if this is a roll mark, that is way too low for that button. So yeah, this is bad. Also on this same pattern piece, they must have been lazy or something. Like these line up, this mark and this mark, you can see, do not line up. That also super threw me off when trying to match stuff up. And it's not like this lines up with a seam or the collar or anything. The mark on the collar lines up with this one. Nothing lines up with this one on the facing. So, like that's just like, it could be worse, but that is just kind of a small annoying pet peeve of mine when they haven't actually double checked and tested and trued their marks, because yeah, these marks should not be here. This should be the only mark here for that. And this should be here to line up with the other pieces. I couldn't find anything in the directions that would like tell me that this was for something else. So I'm just going to assume that it is an error. So this is just another kind of small annoyance. I'm having to recut these straps. Luckily I have plenty of leftover. But the way that it tells you to lay it out directionally with everything else when you're doing stuff is this way. But if you have a directional pattern, don't do that. Think about what you want because this is the front of the strap and this is the back. This goes into the back, like, and gets seamed in. And shorten through here too. So I want the pattern in the front coming down, like, I want the pattern in the front coming down here to be going the same direction as this. So if I cut it the way that it says on the directions, here, let me show you, since I still actually have those sitting right here. So if I cut these in the way that it says, then they're this. The pattern is upside down. So that's just, an important thing to kind of look out for. I really didn't think about it. When you're doing anything that's directional, just double check that you are really thinking through the direction in which you cut things, because it can make a huge difference. Also, look at how cute it is! And how messy my room is. Shh. Surprise, surprise, I am being horrible about filming me making this. I've got most of it done at this point, but I want to talk a little bit about the shirt and some things that I did. I actually took out a set of the darts in the back. I'm putting this on over something else. Took out a set of the darts in the back because it fit me better. I also eased out the side seams a little bit. The shirt, like this area, was tight on me. But otherwise, it fits pretty well. I do feel like there's a lot of fabric in the dolman sleeve, the kimono sleeve, whatever you want to. This is a dolman sleeve, right? I think. But that is one of the things about dolman sleeves, is there's always a lot of extra fabric in them because it's built in. So, anyways, one of the things though that I don't like is I don't like the length that the sleeves are going to be. So this is supposed to have a cuff, and it would sit all the way down here. In the picture, like they had pushed the cuff up, they'd styled the cuff up here. The thing is the cuff is big enough for my forearm. It is ginormous around my wrist. And while I could probably do something to make it like so that I could wear it either or, I think I want to make it, I think I've decided, because I like the idea of the 3/4 sleeve. I think what I'm going to do is shorten the sleeve to about here. So basically cut off, redo the placket that's in the pattern about 3 inches up from where it is, because it's 3 inch. It's not a placket really. There's a 3 inch opening where the cuff opens because it buttons, So I'm gonna raise that opening up 3 more inches and chop it off and then add the cuff here so that it is closer to my arm. And I think I think I will like that better overall. But otherwise, the shirt's really stinking cute. It was super easy. The buttons do seem like, I don't know, like there was a 2-inch, like the center front of this and where the buttons were supposed to be was like a whole inch in, which just seems like an awful lot for only 5/8 buttons. That's just my personal like thoughts. So there's like a huge 2-inch lap here, which is another place where if you know what you're doing, you could, you know, if you're not following the pattern exactly, because no one should ever follow the pattern exactly, you could move them over the buttonholes over a little bit, and you can move the buttons over and get a little bit more room through the front as well. And there's also a back seam where that you could take in or out to also get some room. Yeah, I mean, overall, I'm very happy with the fit of the shirt. I'm super happy with the fit of the overdress. So we'll get to that when it's all done. Alright, here's the final dress. So, in case you ended up skipping through all of that, I'm just going to really quickly run down how I altered the top a little bit, and some of the things that I think you could do to alter the top. I took out one of the sets of darts in the back, because there's 2 sets of darts in the back, 2 in the front, I believe. There's also a center back seam, which is a place where you could easily add more space, but you would have to add in the collar as well. There's some side seams that I put vents in at the bottom in the shirt, and those also gave more space just in the lower area of the shirt. So the dress itself, I ended up really not needing to, I had added in here, I ended up not really needing it, but it's now just like a comfortable, instead of like super tight. I think that would be the big difference there. I probably wouldn't bother adding it again if I was going to make this for myself in a different fabric, which I'm still considering. So I did shorten the sleeves. I did end up making these buttons bigger, and they do not match the buttons on the shirt. So those are basic rundowns of what I did to this lovely little ensemble. I super love this. I've worn it multiple times. I made a little face mask that matches this part out of the scraps, and it's been one of my like go-to outfits for like a comfortable but dressy like going out look. So yeah, give you another little spin around. I super love the crisscross in the back. It's got a nice fullness to the skirt without being like super full. Like the whole tulip thing is lovely. I didn't really spend much time hemming it. It didn't seem to grow, and the tulipness of it, like I just ended up sort of finishing it right where it was. And I haven't really noticed any short or long spots in terms of when I've worn it. Nobody's mentioned anything. And I'm around a lot of people who sew, so I'm sure they would mention it if they did. Yeah. I'm really happy with how the 3/4 sleeve turned out and everything. Like, yeah, I just love this outfit. This is definitely one of my favorite Halloween outfits, and I can't wait to decide. I've got a couple of different things that I'm thinking about making this year for Halloween, but I haven't quite decided yet what I'm going to do, and I still have a couple more weeks to start that. It also usually is very much a last minute. I have this weekend. I am going to make myself something, because I think this did not take long to throw together at all. Like, the longest thing was just making sure that I got this all laid out right for cutting, and then it like zipped together very quickly. This is a super simple pattern, and despite there being some minor errors and flaws, I would absolutely recommend it. Even as a somewhat beginner level, you know, it's pretty good. And if you want to know what those flaws were, make sure you watch the rest of the video. You know, yeah, I just love it. She's so cute. I feel so cute in it too, so it just makes me feel like adorable. And it's like gothy without being super gothy, it's a little 50s without being like super retro. Like I can kind of do whatever I want with it, with my hair and stuff, and just, I don't feel like I gotta go super pinup or super like any specific direction with it. But yeah, I just love it. I hope you enjoyed my little Halloween outfit and the whole process of making it. I do really appreciate everybody who takes the time to watch these videos from the beginning to end. And also, if you do enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. And, you know, if you want to see more of my content, subscribing is the best way, because I do not post on any sort of schedule. But that's the best way to know when I have stuff, is to subscribe and turn on notifications for my channel. I do really appreciate everybody who has come and followed me this past couple of years, people who come and talk to me on TikTok and Tumblr and Twitter and other places. You know, I really enjoy making projects and kind of showing people my process, and I do hope that, well, I'm sure a lot of it's rambly, that there is some educational content buried within this. I try pretty hard to make sure there's educational content buried within this. And it's not all just, oh, look at this project I made. So, but there's a fair amount of that as well. So again, remember to like my videos, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for notifications, and I do really appreciate and love all of you. I hope you have a wonderful week. Mwah! Bye! I really hope that the review of this,